Welcome to the show with no name. I'm Bob Going with Gavin Murdoch and Jim Nikosha. We're here to entertain, enlighten, elucidate, and otherwise screw up the video for the next hour or so. I just knocked myself off camera again, didn't I?
The point that this thing is
Yeah, no, it's a little tight.
short wire.
Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe we should have a few moments silence for the poor Clinton family.
I hear they broke.
Oh, Hillary said they left the White House dead broke.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, this is...
What a line of baloney.
I don't know. They were making, what, $400,000 a year in salary at the time.
Plus bennies.
They had the mansion in Chappaqua.
Suppose that was given to them, though.
No. They paid for no. They paid for it. They paid for it. Of course, they rented a good chunk of it back to the Secret Service for enough to pay the mortgage.
Yes.
But they were, and of course they had the place in Georgetown as well. So it was really hard. They were dead broke. It was really, really hard for them to make all those mortgage payments on their. It was a $6 million house in Chappaqua. I don't know what the place in Georgetown cost. And of course they were living separate and apart at the time, if I recall. But they bought the place in Chappaqua so she could run for the Senate. Yeah.
Shall we take up a collection for her?
Well, she had a tough time to decide whether she should get paid big money for speeches or to get a job with the company.
And remember, I don't know, one or the other of them just before leaving office signed the book deal for $8 million advance.
That never written.
No, that book was written. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I didn't watch that show. I knew there was going to be so much baloney on it. I said, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to upset myself to listening to the garbage. So I didn't watch it.
Woe is me.
I watched the Big Bang Theory instead.
As a matter of principle, I've never watched that show, but yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know how they made ends meet. I really don't. I was reading this morning. Apparently their financial problems started even while they were still in the White House. She had to cut back Bill's hooker allowance and substitute unpaid interns.
Well, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Chelsea must have had a part-time job to take care.
Yeah, I'm sure she was working in the kitchen. Yeah. It's tough.
It is.
Yeah.
So was that the official Hillary kickoff campaign program for presidential?
Apparently, I missed it. Yeah, but when I read about it afterwards and saw what bad shape they were in, I saw, now I can understand. She's really identifying with the unemployed masses. I can.
How we make ends meet.
I can see that.
Yeah, but my back was bothering me, and I couldn't stoop that low to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Well, let's see.
Well, on a more serious note and local flavors, my granddaughter had a child yesterday.
Wow, so that
What
makes
kind of
you
child is it?
a great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather.
Is it a
again.
masculine child?
Yes.
A masculine child?
Masculine, finally.
Wow.
All the other grandchildren are girls, so.
Well, this is a great-grandchild.
This is a great-grandchild. Graham Rhodes. That's his name.
Wow.
R-O-R-H.
R-H. So congratulations, Jessica and Stephen.
And great-grandpa.
And welcome to the family, Graham.
Wow. That's terrific.
That's perfect.
All right, so which of your children is the grandparent at this point?
Michael.
Michael is the grandfather, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Michael's a grandfather. He's also a great-grandfather. He's got a granddaughter that has a child, which is my great-great-grandchild.
No.
My grandson's daughter has a child, so he's my great-grandson. She's my great-granddaughter. And the child is my great-great-grandson, right?
I don't even want to think about that.
I don't think about it.
You got a lot of branches on that family tree.
You know, my great-great-grandfather died in 1879. Speaking of ancient times, did you see my Clara Clisby?
Yes, I did. I was going to mention
I
that.
saw that.
Yeah. What a great writer she was.
Amazing, just high school age. I had to go back and because she never says, it doesn't say anywhere on the papers where she's attending school, but I've concluded it had to have been the Amsterdam Academy because that was the only high school at the time. There was no public high school. There was only the private Amsterdam Academy on Academy Street, and apparently the Clisbys were fairly well-to-do at the time.
Could afford it.
Yeah.
Wow. But she writes very well for any age.
Yeah, really, and I'm putting that stuff together. I said, there's a movie in here someplace. I'm not sure what the total theme of it is, but the looking back on herself as a 6-year-old chasing the rainbow across the fields of Rockton
and being disappointed when it's not there. She couldn't find the end of it.
Couldn't find the end of it. She ran out of breath before, and the rainbow disappeared before she was able to get the pot of gold. Now, how am I going to explain this to the folks? If I came back with a bucket of gold, there would be no problem.
Right.
They'd forgive just about anything with a bucket of gold in there. So I've been doing a little research on that one story she had about crossing the fields and outside, going from essentially Manny's Corners to Cranesville. Is that actually a telephone ringing? Do
Yes.
we have a bell now?
Yeah.
It rings in the other.
We got all this new equipment here. Is nobody answering it? Yeah, somebody got it. Anyway, she tells the story. She tells the story about as I don't know, as a young teenager, go visiting a friend out by Manny's Corners someplace, and then cutting across fields for a nice little adventure with a bunch of her friends and friend's mother, and they stumble across this old quarry that's long abandoned, and this is 1887 or 88. She's writing this, and it took place sometime before that. So they come across this quarry that's in the middle of no place, long abandoned, and there's still a blacksmith shack there, all fallen down, but full of equipment, anvils, and then she describes all the stuff that's there. And then they go a little further, and there's an old sawmill with a steam engine to run the saw, and that's been abandoned. So I send it out to Bruce Conover in California, who used to live in that neighborhood on Truex Road. And he sends me back the Google map, shows me where the quarry is and where the remains of the sawmill are. So, when it dries out a little bit, I'm going to go make a little road trip.
Ooh.
But, I can recreate the adventure that this kid had in the 1880s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we got a call. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hi, Bob Judge.
Hi.
You read from your book last week.
Yes.
A remarkable speech by a high school senior.
Walter Tatara.
Whatever happened to you? That speech was just like presidential.
Yeah,
Have
it
you
was
ever anything like
fantastic.
that by a high school boy?
Yeah, and I don't know how much time he had to prepare it. I guess everybody knew D-Day was coming, but the assembly was thrown together when it was announced, and I think it was all pretty spontaneous.
You're kidding.
I'm just flabbergasted by it. That's why I put it in the book, and of course I also put it in for the subtle reason that he would probably be evicted and excommunicated for having mentioned God in the classroom and all. But
how do you spell his name?
Tatara.
It wasn't in the book, right? It's not in telephone book.
Oh, I don't know. I've never tried to find him.
I hope you do.
Walter Tatara. He would have been class of 44.
How do you spell his name?
Tatara. Tatara. Tatara.
Wow. Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is he could have been drafted. What was it? No, it was 44.
Well,
maybe.
no, a lot of those guys went in the war from the class
They
of 44.
still went into the war anyway,
Sure,
didn't they?
sure.
Oh,
Mike
okay.
Riccio
Well,
was in that class. He served. Yeah, a lot of guys did. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. And if you didn't catch the podcast, we had Gavin reading from his grandfather's report on D-Day, which was also in the paper, or excerpts from it on the paper. Wasn't that nicely done?
Yeah, I was going to say that. The way they put it together and having the veterans speak two issues and then that reposted in different spots, I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah.
The way they did that. And of course,
very well done.
your comments are very appropriate.
Well, listen,
and
I
potent.
had to talk for about 45 minutes before they got anything that they could use. So, we do the show every week. We've been doing the 1 hour show, the 2 hour podcast for a long time now. So I get over to the recorder and I'm just. I don't know. Anyway, Casey did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
She's. I think she's like 22 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really nice job.
Yeah, beautiful piece of editing and writing. Lou Harrower, who's in my book, and I read the segment about him from my book last week. She goes up and interviews him, and I suspect got him to say things he's never said before. On the 70th anniversary of D-Day, he's suddenly telling people what it was like going ashore, and the guy on the left of him gets his brains blown out, and the guy on the right of him gets cut in half, and and that was the quiet beach. That was Utah. That was the quiet beach.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's ironic what different experiences the guys had depending on what beach it was.
Sure.
It was not across the board. It was.
But you know what? If there's somebody shooting at you, I don't care if there's 10,000 people shooting at you or at one. I imagine the experience has got to be pretty close to the same. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. And they all downplayed it over the years. But, oh, there's some brains on my shoulder. I must have been hit. Oh no. Oh, thank God, it's the other guy's brains. Yeah. Wow. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
You guys ever see a blacksmith shop? A real blacksmith shop?
Well, I've seen some, like at Colonial Williamsburg and at Fort Clark.
A real working.
Currently working.
Yeah.
No.
When we were kids, we used to.
Oh well, now we're talking about the Williamsburg days.
Close. Yeah, there was a blacksmith shop, probably 2 or 3 blocks from our house that we used to go by it on our way to religious instructions, and we used to watch the guy for a few minutes. But I don't remember all the equipment he had, but it was a shack. It was like a lean-to type of thing. He had his anvil there and his forge. It was.
They have the chorus with that.
And the bellows.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I've seen that type of thing operate there because in Williamsburg it's a working blacksmith shop. They do the real thing. They're taking picking up a piece of scrap iron and turning it into something.
Turn into a hinge for a door.
Yeah.
I got my son does that.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got.
He picks up hinges for doors.
Yeah, he picks up anything.
Wow.
He's got a small forge in his garage, and
Well, one of our classmates is a farrier, and he works in the black shop. Mark Rogers worked up at Saratoga.
I was going to mention Mark Rogers. The last time I ran into him, which was probably about 20 years ago, I said, "What are you doing, Mark?" "I'm a blacksmith." He says, "I'm kidding." I never knew a real life blacksmith.
Yeah, he does the horses at Saratoga.
Yeah. So he's still up there? I haven't seen him in a long time.
As far as I know. I like to see what his forearms are like now after pounding with those hammers. He certainly want him sitting next to you as opposed to across from you.
I bet he's sinewy.
Sinewy, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what the poem says.
Under the spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands.
There's a couple farriers that live in Amsterdam.
Strong and sinewy hands. I don't forget the line in between.
I think the first time I ever saw a blacksmith doing anything was on the Little Rascals. Remember, the kid was going to school and he's telling this guy he wanted to drop out, and the guy's pounding nails in the blacksmith shop, and they go on and have a little chat of why education might be a better option.
And you decided then and there that you were going to devote your life to educating our youngsters.
Yes. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to turn into a blacksmith. They're artists. They really are. They really are. Stuff like that amazes me. There's all kinds of things I can't do. I couldn't do if I tried it for a million years. I just, don't have the coordination for it. So Saturday. I think I was even sleeping. Mary wakes me up and says, "There's no obituaries in the paper today." Oh, thank God, because we've been going like crazy. It's like four a week for the last 6, 8, 10 weeks. And then, of course, Sunday, Pete LaBate dies. So, there we go. Now, all right, you came up with something bad to say about Art Coutinho. Tell me something bad about Pete LaBate.
I can't think of anything about Pete.
No, you can't. Now, you've been playing softball a long time. But
Yeah.
It seems to me there were some years ago there was a team completely made up of LaBate cousins and uncles. We're going back a ways.
Yeah, but I think
when
you're
we were
right.
In our 20s.
Yeah, I think there was a team there. They're all from the same trunk of trees. And
Yeah.
a lot of branches, but yeah, I think there was. Well, there.
How long have you been playing now?
1969. So
Well, you must have taken some time off in between, didn't you?
what I didn't play when I was here is where I was playing wherever I was living. So no, I haven't taken any time. Injuries have curtailed portions of seasons, but no, we've been playing straight since '69.
Wow.
50 years.
Yeah, I started playing in '68, I think. That was my last year.
First year and last year.
Oh yeah.
Whole career wrapped up into one.
Yeah, no. My career on Paul's Confectionery was not a long one. Not a long one. Yeah.
No, every
John Quattrini was our coach.
Was he?
Yeah. And of course, Jimmy Schechten was his brother-in-law, so Jimmy got to be our pitcher. He was terrible. Fireman. No, I'm not denigrating firemen. I'm just making a joke at Jim's expense here, Jim Nikosha's expense. Jimmy Schechten was his own joke on the mound, I'll tell you. Oh, God.
But it gave plenty of exercise to the outfield, so there's something
No!
good. No, he just walked everybody.
Everybody. He walked about 20 guys in a row one time. Yes. No, he's a friend of mine. I like Jimmy. He's a terrific fire chief. I think he's, been an outstanding citizen of our community and all that. He was a terrible pitcher. That's all I got to say. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hi. I would like to know what you know about Edward Merzvinsky.
You got to spell it first. Is it with a W or a V?
No, it's Edward Mezvinsky.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
What can you tell me?
According to this email that I got, that is Chelsea Clinton's father-in-law.
Oh! I thought you were talking about a local guy. Okay, yeah, because it sounds like a local name. No, I really don't know anything about Chelsea's father-in-law. I know the mother just ran for Congress or something and got clobbered in Pennsylvania.
Well, anyway, it's really very derogatory about him, how he's a crook and everything. And I just wondered how much of that is true,
Well, I mean, he could very well be a crook, but that doesn't reflect on Chelsea. I know it
doesn't, but he got away with. I mean, he was in prison for a while.
That could be.
He got away with millions of dollars that he owes in a Ponzi scheme.
That's half the country.
But I just wonder if that's true or not.
I don't know. I don't know.
know.
I really don't.
Okay,
I'd be happy to make something up.
I thought you knew everything.
Once you get into the third cousin, once removed to the Clintons, I'm out of it. I'm out of it. I have enough trouble keeping track of my own third cousins, like Maria Shriver.
I mean, he was in Congress too, and I guess his wife ran too, and she just got. Anyway, there's a whole story about him.
She just ran. She just ran in a primary.
If, they're just trying to blackball him, or just for how much of that is true.
She just ran a couple of weeks ago. She was.
I know.
She was killed and slaughtered, and I mean they outspent the opposition by about 40-1, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
All right, that's
okay. I just wanted.
I'll study up on it for you next time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye.
Woo, okay. Yeah. Anyway, back to Pete LaBate. I remember when the old Gazette office was on Main Street, and Sam Zerlo was still working. I was up visiting with him one day, and he's spent a good portion of the day looking out the window, probably waiting for the recorder to come. And
so you could get the news?
Yeah. And he says, "There goes the handsomest man in the city of Amsterdam." And it was Pete LaBate. Yeah. Good-looking guy. Absolutely. But nice. I mean, jeepers. They come any nicer? I've got the photograph of when he went off to war in World War II. It was kind of late. I mean, it was like late 43 or something like that, I think. And in the picture is with Stanley, Mark Stanley's father, and Dutch Holland. A couple other guys I knew. It's like one of these big group pictures. I think I knew half the guys in the picture. Well, boy. Anyway, everybody had a LaBate in their class. Jimmy was in mine. Maria was in yours.
Yeah.
So for me, it's for me. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hello, how you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Very well, actually.
Yes, I'm the creator on the Facebook page that's called Say Yes for 27.
I'm sorry, you got a lot of noise in the background. What's your question?
Yes, I'm the one that created a group on Facebook that's called Say Yes to Ezra 27 on Facebook.
Oh, and what's that about?
It's about us supporting the casino coming into Montgomery County.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
I got a page. It's a group on Facebook that's called Say Yes to Ezra 27 for a casino. It's about supporting, about jobs coming here, about the community getting stronger, about us moving forward, and about, how the casino's going to bring good to us, instead of negative. Everybody got to think about the positive, how we got to move forward instead of moving backwards.
Okay, and how does the casino move us forward?
I mean, it could help us with the revenue. It could help the city out with the taxes, people, small businesses. We don't have really nothing here for the city. We don't have no tourists coming here. We don't have nothing here. And I just feel that casino comes here, it's going to help this city grow. It's going to help Montgomery County out, not only Amsterdam, Montgomery County. And I just feel we can move forward. We the only little city that keeps on moving backwards. When we got the opportunity, we should step forward. Okay.
And what can people do to bring the casino here?
Well, what I would like is if I can get more people to join the group on Facebook, I think the gaming committee would see that we got the support. We got the people that live in Amsterdam, or in Montgomery County that wants to support this casino coming here. I think, the more people that could join the group, and we could spread the words and say, hey, we do want it here. We do want more jobs. We want to help the small business people out, and we want this city to grow. And, I mean, we need to speak out. We need to let our voice be heard. We need to, show the state of New York that we do want it.
Okay, what's the status of the application process at this point? Do you know?
All I know is June 17th they're having a meeting about the casino. I guess they might, say how big it's going to be, what kind of benefit it's going to do for the city. I believe it's on the 17th of June.
Okay.
That's a county meeting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a meeting.
And
there's a meeting.
I even reached out to developers for the casino. I let them know about the group, and that we got people supporting them to come here. And the one gentleman I speak to said he is very happy, and he wants to meet with me. I even reached out to Assemblyman Sensor Barbara. He wants to reach out. He wants me to sit down and talk to him about this. And just why not Amsterdam? It's always Schenectady, Albany, Rensselaer. Now, why not Amsterdam? Why are we always forgotten?
It's not. We're not forgotten. We don't have the people in the city who come out and support the initiatives that we have to advance the city. We have too many naysayers in the city who speak against something, and they really don't know what they're speaking against. So that's where your group is going to have to come together and get forums going, get meetings going, so people can listen and hear what you've got to say.
What's the name of the Facebook page again?
Say yes to Exit 27 for casino.
Say yes to Exit 27 for casino.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care. Good luck.
And you guys have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. Probably if you just go Exit 27, you probably get it, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It'll probably direct you to different sites. Yeah.
A lot of different sites on Facebook now. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own. We've got our own. The Show with No Name.
Yeah.
You can go to Facebook and go to the Show with No Name and catch our old shows. And
You can Google the Show with No Name, and you'll get
you got lots of.
You get a thousand different sites.
Well, we got all our old shows on YouTube, just about.
Yeah.
The ones I remember to record. Anyway.
It's funny that when something positive comes along, you don't have enough support for it. People just sit back and they let it go by inertia, let it go by itself, instead of coming out and really promoting it. Like the landfill we had, that we didn't have enough support for. And it's going to be the same thing with this casino. You're going to have a...
Oh, God. We would have, let's see, how many years ago is that? We would have
7 years.
$30 million by now? Something like that.
At least. And you still don't hear anybody talking about trying to get it. I mean, well, I guess
it's not going to happen now.
It's not going to happen now, but look at the negative things that people said about it that were not true.
Right.
Well, when did truth ever get in the way of a good idea?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the same thing is going to happen with the casino.
Well, it's interesting that the Rensselaer site was out, and all of a sudden the developer who was looking at the Exit 23 site switched to Rensselaer. That's
Switch teams.
That's Peter Marks' development in Rensselaer, and he was actually the guy behind the landfill.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
It is.
But I find it fascinating that the site that's owned by Senator Gillibrand's family now appears to be out, unless they get another developer come in.
I guess they did a topographical survey of the place, and it's too hilly, or there's too many drop-offs or something.
Yeah. Didn't plan very well, did they?
No, they didn't. There'd have to be too much.
Did Hilly stop the casino at Monte Carlo? Come on, what's the matter with these guys?
Yeah.
So, I think stuff built into hillsides is architecturally fascinating. It's my mother's ancestral village in Italy is entirely built into a hillside, and when they came to America, which was the whole village came to America. They found like the one hill in Franklin, Massachusetts, and built a house on the hill. Yeah. Did you ever see a house with a sub-basement? My grandmother's house had a sub-basement, and you went down to the cellar, and the cellar was still at ground level, and you went down another level. I think the sub-basement, the sub-basement was at ground level too, or at one ground level. Now that I think about it, because I think they used to keep the horses in there or something. And,
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, you're listening to the show with no name on WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York. What?
Sponsored by?
Oh, sponsored by. Well, never mind sponsored by. Let's get into the anecdote thing again. The wife and I were hungry the other day. So,
Really? You got hungry the other day?
Yeah, we got hungry again the other day, so we're out and about. So well, it's, where can we get where can we go someplace where we can eat for a reasonable price and not walk away feeling like we're still hungry?
Where did you go, Bob?
We went to the Crystal on Forest Avenue. We
Perfect
did.
spot. Perfect choice.
It was a perfect choice. It was lunchtime, and maybe a little, kind of more toward 1 o'clock. So the rush lunch business was a little bit out of the way. So anyway, so Tony, of course, welcomes us like old friends.
Which you are.
Which we are.
Well, twice you are. You're old and you're friends.
And we're friends. Yes. So what shall we have? And now he's got all these specials up there too. It's like he's running the restaurant again. He's got all the and it's. As opposed to just a pizzeria.
Yeah.
It's not just a pizzeria.
No, it isn't.
No,
it isn't.
He doesn't have, like the complete menu like they used to have, but he's got daily specials that cover just about anything you'd want to eat. So Tony says, hey, how about a little eggplant? I'll make it up special for you.
Oh, boy.
And we're not talking about opening up a can and heating it up here. Yeah. I mean, he made that eggplant from fresh ingredients on the spot. It was out of this world. Out of this world.
Fantastic.
The sauce was delicate and flavorful, and that was just one of. We also got the chef salad. So between the two of us, we had 4 days worth of meals there for the two orders. There had the chef salad there. Good God.
You had to bring half of it home, right?
Half? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I had skipped breakfast, so it was...
it was okay.
Yeah, I figured, Yeah. Yeah, hey, we didn't have any cold cuts at home. Well, I got plenty of them here, I'll tell you. And he wraps them all up in these little curlicues, and... Oh, man. Anyway, so we... The service was terrific. It was really terrific. The food came right out, and friendly. Table, not just Tony, but the waitress was very, very friendly service and excellent service. So when I tell you we were there for an hour, I'm just telling you I was eating for an hour. It was great. It was great. That eggplant was out of this world. The chef salad can't be beat. So I did take a little more than half the chef salad home, and we each had some of that and some of the eggplant. But oh man, and for people like us who are eating gluten-free these days, to get a really good tasting Italian meal that's gluten-free is a little difficult. Wow. All you had to do is mention it, and Tony made it up special for me without the breadcrumbs. Whew. Is it okay? He said, yeah, it's okay, Tony. Yeah, it's okay. Tony Sentai, who knows how to cook food and seems to, notwithstanding his advanced age, he's my age, it seems to be thoroughly...
And how old is that?
Well, I'll be 63 end of the month.
Okay.
He seems to be thoroughly enjoying cooking. You could see his eyes lit up. He's making this up special for me.
And the way it's set up, I mean, he has a lot of contact with the people who come in. He's right there. And he'll stick his head out and give you a shout, and it's great. Misha and I were there yesterday. Right after school, we stopped to get some ice cream on the way to bagpipe lessons, and we got twist cone, chocolate vanilla twist cones, and you can tell the girls there are getting more and more experienced because the twists were a little bit straighter. Beginning of the year, there's a little. You got to have that knack to move the cone underneath.
I worked at Polar Freeze one summer. I know of which you speak.
The leaning tower of pizza.
All right. Right.
But it was great. We were able to consume those driving down, and
You know, I pulled Tony aside afterwards. I said, you know, I want to thank you for the extra special treatment you gave us here today. He says, everybody gets this treatment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's nothing special about you. Yeah. And you know, you go in there, if you mention the show with no name, you end up with a pile of money in front of you.
that's right. You get a discount. You know, that's right. He's been one of our longtime supporters and one of our best sponsors we've ever had.
He is. I think he's the very best sponsor we've ever had.
Yeah.
So at least since we came back this time around.
So when you're out and about, stop at Tony Sympathizes, Crystal and Forest Ave, and tell them you said hey from us.
That's right. It's always good to know that, you know, people are listening to the show.
That's right.
No, well, that one's not for us. Okay. All right, that gets that out of the way. Good. I'm glad you mentioned the sponsor because, you know, otherwise I might have forgotten. It would have been a terrible thing.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah. Anyway. So I see they had that bridge, I don't know, did they break ground or they just went, and so about once a year they go out and celebrate themselves. They did this last year about this time.
Yeah, that's for us.
Oh, all right, we'll get to that. This is WCSS, you're on the air.
Hello, I heard you talking about Crystal on Forest.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, my boyfriend and I stopped there, and we had a gluten-free pizza.
Oh, it's
with
great,
all
isn't
fresh
it?
ingredients that was out of this world.
Yep.
And I encourage everyone to try Crystal on Forest.
Pizza is one of those things that is hit and miss when you're gluten free. Not at Tony's place. I mean, it tastes like he invented it today. You know, it's terrific, absolutely terrific.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
All righty.
He's got the best pizza in town,
Bar none.
And I'm not saying that just because he's our sponsor.
Yeah, well, that's why he's our sponsor.
We go with nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best.
Nothing but the best.
That's right.
And his calzones are fantastic also.
Okay, all righty.
Yeah, the ground's been broken over there.
Anyway, the ground's been broken for the Overlook, for the Mohawk Valley Overlook, and all right.
They had a groundbreaking.
Just when you think the insanity has gone as far as it can possibly go, about a year ago, I think it was about a year ago, they had a similar get-together at the Riverlink Park with whoever the Democrats were running for office that year. So you had, or were looking for. So you had the mayor, you had Tachik and Santa Barbara, you had a couple of people who were running for local office, all there, and the whole thing seemed to be, let's get together and celebrate how we're doing wonderful things for the riverfront. And Paul Tonko was there, of course, and Tonko was being a little conservative.
Paul was conservative.
Well, I don't mean, he was, had a Goldwater for president button on. I mean reserved, I guess is what I mean. He was being a little reserved, and he's talking about the Overlook, and he wouldn't call it a bridge. It's a destination.
Well, it's not a bridge.
No, it's a destination.
No
a bridge actually connects two places.
You can't get off on both ends, so that's why they don't call it a bridge.
Right. So anyway, this destination, this Overlook, and he says this will draw tens of thousands of people to Amsterdam. And Mayor Thane interrupts him and says, "No, Paul, hundreds of thousands. It will draw hundreds of thousands of people." Well, the audio wasn't very good on it, so I never put it up, and I eventually erased it. So you're going to have to take my word for the fact that was said, but that was what was said. Now, last week, the two of them, plus Brian Stratton, former mayor of Schenectady, who's now head of the Canal Corporation.
He's named after the airbase?
He is. Quite a few. No, actually, he was named before the airbase, now that I think about it. Anyway, he gets up and he says, Millions.
I heard that.
This will draw millions
Millions.
of tourists.
I says, my God. I says, where do they get these figures from? Where?
The IRS, they make up numbers.
They didn't legalize marijuana yet, so they couldn't have been high, or maybe they were illegally. But I don't believe it. I don't believe they're saying this.
The Leader Herald did an article on it, and all the comments on the Leader Herald article were basically what you just said. Are these people out of their freaking minds?
Really?
Now, the one thing these people always point to, these insane people, I'll say it, this is absolutely freaking nuts. Yeah. To make such a statement, even to say tens of thousands, is freaking nuts. Okay? All right. One of the things I always point to is that bridge over the Hudson at Poughkeepsie. Now, I've never, there's a pedestrian bridge.
Yes.
Connecting the two sides of the Hudson River. And it draws a lot of people.
A lot of people.
So they say.
They do.
I have not been there myself, but a friend of mine recently was down there, and he took a photograph and posted it on Facebook, which I stole. And it's looking, I believe the view is from the pedestrian bridge looking downstream, down the Hudson. And in the near distance is the highway bridge across the Hudson. Okay, and then the view is fantastic. It's like the prettiest part of the Hudson River Valley, which is often compared to the Rhine in Europe as one of the most beautiful places in the world. And so you got the Catskill Mountains on your right. You got the high hills overlooking the Hudson, and the deep river valley, and this beautiful highway bridge in the near distance. The same view from our new Mohawk Overlook, first of all, is going to be about 1,000 feet closer to the water, I think, than this pedestrian bridge. And I mean, it looked to me like that one was pretty high up.
And it's going to be a lot shorter.
And it's shorter.
Well,
but
the
that's
bridge
okay.
is shorter.
Yeah, well,
it's narrower.
The river's narrower. But the same view downstream is going to be of the side of the highway bridge right next to it, and you won't even be able to see Riverling Park, I don't think, except a partial view. Maybe you might get a partial view of it. And I said, what are they talking about? All right, the view the other way is not too bad. It's not a bad view. It's a pretty view up the Mohawk, but it only goes as far as Loch 11 at Guy Park. And that's it. Nice view. You know what? You get the same view right now if you walk across the existing river bridge.
Exactly.
The exact same view. And how many millions of people do you see walking across the existing Amsterdam destination bridge?
But there are no benches there, Bob.
Oh, that's right.
There's no floral arrangements, Bob.
Well, there were floral arrangements. They died.
Yeah, you had to look up. I mean, these ours are good.
There were urns there. The mayor took them out and moved them to City Hall because nobody was taking care of them.
I was asked the other day why it's called the Overlook instead of a bridge across the Mohawk. I said, because a bridge has a destination on both sides. Yeah. I said, this one does not. Yeah. You only go so far, then you got to come back. And they said, well, isn't this supposed to connect with the park and the Main Street? I said, that's another project that they haven't figured out how to pay for that yet.
Yeah.
I said, and that was from the Canal Corporation, say that it's up to the city to figure out how to get off that bridge.
Yeah.
They said that at that meeting we had.
Yeah.
Cargo net.
Yeah.
Cargo net.
Yeah.
The mayor says, I don't understand why people call this a bridge to nowhere. This is
because you can't go anywhere on it.
This is just a part of an ongoing process. Because now, in order to eventually connect it to Main Street, the only way they can figure out to do it is to build a freaking new multi-million-dollar train station that no one is going to use, so that you can get an elevator up and over.
And that will not happen.
Well, it could happen because crazier things have happened in this town. You got a $16.5 million bridge that's already $1 million over budget, by the way, and they're talking about the city's going to have to come up with the rest of the money. You know?
I didn't hear it.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't hear that it was
Oh
over
sure.
budget.
I can't wait to see how they vote on that. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Hi, it's the first time I've ever called.
Wow.
But I am uptight. First, I don't know idiot ever okayed this. That bridge, or the Berlin Wall down there.
Yeah.
That separates the east from the west.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that the city has ever done.
Well, the city had nothing to do with it, actually.
Well, somebody's patted their pockets
Yeah. Well.
to okay that.
Yeah.
I mean, the riverfront park that we got now, that's another glitch. You come in with your boat. There's no place to go downtown. If you want to go any place to shop or to eat or have anything to do, you've got to rent a taxi. And you just stopped in our port. And where are you going to go for relaxation or anything? Yeah, you could sit on a bench, but you're sitting on your boat all the way. I mean, you got so much stupid things the city is doing. I really don't believe.
And how many?
What junkheads they got running it?
And how many people are even going to be sitting on the benches?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I didn't get your
$16 million
full,
worth.
I didn't get your full speech on this. Well, I know the bridge to nowhere, but this other bridge, Overlook or something, they're thinking about doing.
Yeah, there's one down in Poughkeepsie that's a very a nice pedestrian bridge over the Mohawk, and they keep comparing this to that, which is you can come up with your own analogies, but it's pretty preposterous.
Well, before somebody said something about they didn't have marijuana then, but boy, they had something to drink when they built that Berlin Wall between the city.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the worst idiotic thing anybody had ever done. I mean, there's no downtown. When I was younger, I'm 82. When I was younger, I mean, that east and west, the park down there was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the East End Park.
Sure.
Cousins Park.
Cousins Park, sure.
Oh, with the little swimming pool and everything. That was wonderful.
Yep.
I mean, this is people being people and neighbors being neighbors and walking the whole length in the main street and just parking your car down there and be a people watcher.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wonderful.
Yep.
Now, my God Almighty, you can't go down there. And I mean, there's boards on the walls, and it's ridiculous. And they say they want to beautify Amsterdam and bring people to come in. Nobody wants to come in.
They had a chance to do that a couple of years ago with the landfill on the East End. They'd have had more money than they could spend. They would have had to look for ways to spend the money.
Yep.
Yeah. Why are they putting all this money into idiotic things? I mean, when the city could use so much different things.
It's insanity. That's all.
How about a youth center? How about a youth center for these kids instead of running around breaking windows and keying cars and having no place to go? Get one of these buildings that nobody is using. Turn it into a rec hall for the kids, a dance hall, a roller skating rink. Let them have some place to go rather than going around getting into trouble and being our future wanted on a wall.
All right. This is your first time call?
Yes, it is.
Boy, you've been holding back, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Everything's been building up.
Everything has been building. Truthfully, I never had a radio.
82, you had a crystal set.
I gotta be honest.
You had a crystal set when you were younger,
No,
right?
I was just giving the radio, and I put you guys out all the time. Now they say the next thing you got to do is listen to Swap Shop on a Saturday. I said, oh boy, here I go.
All right.
Well, fellas, you're doing a great job, and thank you very much for letting me on the line.
Thanks for calling. Call anytime.
Bye-bye, sir.
Wow.
That was good.
So somebody wrote on, I don't know, must have been on Facebook. I don't know how to, well, how do you get from the New Hampton Inn to this Overlook?
We drive over to the south side, you park your car. And
Yeah, that was one. I said, well, first you take a cab over to the Riverfront Center, then walk a quarter mile across the bridge, and
No, they're going to get a zip line.
a zip line would be cool. Yeah, all right. All right, we got more people calling in. This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Good morning, Judge.
Hey.
Hey, you mentioned a little while ago that when you're standing on this new proposed bridge and you look downstream,
Yeah.
it doesn't have much of a view because I think that other bridge is going to be in the way.
Well, yeah.
Have you considered that one of the final phases of this whole project may be to knock that existing bridge down?
And really, how are people going to get from the thruway to Amsterdam?
Well,
at
that doesn't
point?
matter.
They're
This
gonna
whole
park-
project is insane. So wouldn't that be? That would be part of it.
That would be part of the insanity. That's right.
Send them down to what do you call it, Rotterdam Junction. They can cross there.
Cross over there.
There you go.
Actually, there was talk at one time of moving the river bridge to the east end and hooking up with Route 5 at that point, changing the interchange, moving the interchange back a bit. That was seriously discussed at one point. So I can just see that. That'll be the next step. Well, there's no view, so now we have to create one.
Well, the mayor's
What's the
gonna
point of having an overlook if you're not going to have a view?
Well, that's right, and this may be a secret that the administration is just
It could
keeping
be
under their hat.
because
And just be prepared for anything with this mayor.
this whole pedestrian bridge in the first place sprung out of no place. Nobody in city government knew this was coming. I was in city government at the time when it ended up on the as part of the transportation bond issue. The mayor didn't know. The common council didn't know. All of a sudden, there's a $16.5 million bridge. So we bring Tanko into the office. What's this all about? And they said, who's going to pay to maintain this bridge? He says, well, I assume the city is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You're going to consult us first? And you know what? This thing never would have happened if the last Common Council had just said, no, we're not going to pay for the maintenance. So nobody ever asked us before, and we're not going to do it.
No, the No Guts Council.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This council would have put a stop to it.
I hope so.
What was I going to say?
What can you say after you've already torn our bridge down?
Well,
our highway bridge.
When you look east, they're going to paint the side of the bridge. She's going to have murals on the side.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a mural on the side of the bridge. That'll take care of it.
Jim, that's a great idea.
As a matter of fact, they can paint it like it's a downriver scene, and so
You'll never notice.
So you'll never even notice that there's a bridge there.
Judge,
sky blue paint.
Is that any more absurd? That would cost a whole lot less than the $16.5 million they're spending to build it in the first place.
this is just a colossal and classic waste of New York State taxpayer money.
It absolutely
I said
is.
long ago, they said, if we don't do it, somebody else will do it. And I said, well, good, let somebody else be an idiot. Why don't we, just drop some common sense and say, no, enough is enough. It's a waste of money. And maybe other communities would pick up on that and, join the bandwagon and say, let's not waste any money.
And it turns out the whole thing was a lie anyway, that the legislature could change the program tomorrow and use that money for other riverfront development in the city of Amsterdam. It doesn't have to be that bridge. They could change that tomorrow. But we've been lied to all along by people saying that no, if it's not the bridge, it's going to go to Utica or something. That's an absolute lie.
And you're quite sure that the north side is not going to end in that building in Main Street?
Well, that was Babe's idea, to just connect it to the fourth floor of the bank building and take the elevator down.
But there's no exit off that.
Yeah, there's no exit, no.
Where's the train station going to go?
Well, who the heck knows?
Maybe that'll be the north end depot.
Well, yeah, I think the idea is that the train station will be somewhere near where this pedestrian bridge ends, and that you will then have to build a bridge across the tracks to connect the train station with Main Street. I think that's the theme, and it's nonsense. Nobody uses the train now. No more people are going to use the train if it's moved downtown than use it in the West End. If anything,
Well, the millions that'll come to see the bridge will.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah, that's it. They can just.
There you go.
That's right. The millions of people will be getting off there,
That's
walking across the bridge, walking back, getting on the train, and going back to wherever they came from.
That's the destination.
That's the destination.
Hey, good show, guys.
Thank you. God, I'm so stupid. Why didn't I think of that? That's the way these people think. You know.
Wow.
But the scary part is, in New York State, how many other
Right.
projects or use of our tax dollars are taking place now that are not productive, that is just coming out of our pockets, and people say, oh, look at what we did. We just scuttle the money that we have, and you don't put it into places where it could be useful, and you've got all these little programs that really are not going to do what they say they're going to do.
I've been listening. You can't help listening to him. Cuomo's ads on the TV and on how great he is for the state, and he dropped the debt from $2 billion. If they've got, and he's got a $2 billion fund balance. If they've got that much money, that means we've been overtaxed.
Overtaxed by $2 billion.
By $2 billion. Why doesn't he reduce our taxes, our New York State taxes?
Like they do in Wisconsin.
Yeah. I mean, that ad is so stupid. If people had any brains...
Anybody who thinks that New York State is prospering under this administration is taking that stuff too.
If I were a small business owner, I would be fried right now, because they're offering all sorts of incentive and zones for people to come in and build businesses and give them tax breaks. Yet the poor guy who's got a business here doesn't qualify, and he's paying through the yin-yang.
Well, he qualifies if he wants to move his business to another area.
You shouldn't have to move. Keep it where we are.
Well, he can move to another area, and he can get the tax rebates. I mean...
I'm all for bringing business in, no doubt about it. But don't build it on the back of the guys that are already here.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you got the same thing over here, where the guy who buys the motel gets his tax assessment raised, where the other hotel gets $800,000 free money.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? They're in competition with each other.
I don't think making sense has anything to do with government.
Oh, how wonderful it is! Oh, look at we got $800,000 we're giving to one guy and not the other guy.
Well, if you listen to if you listen to the Common Council meetings, you'll know why things are the way they are in Amsterdam.
God. Anyway, I guess our time has run out. We'll be back next Tuesday, and I guess we got a podcast Friday. And I don't know if I'm going to be here next Tuesday. That's just still up in the air. I'm going on vacation for a couple of weeks, but we're not sure when it's starting. Anyway, so thanks for listening. This is WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York, and this has been the show with no name.